What it do? What it do? What it do? It's your host Vino the Most, back for another classic on Vino Comments. You know, on the road to 75 subscribers, and make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, and share. Tell a friend and tell a friend and do it again. But for sure, make sure that you're pulled up and rolled up. I'm glad that you showed up to comment, like, subscribe, tell a friend and tell a friend and do it again. About everybody got smoke for Brandon Tatum, but not for Nolan Wells' friend. You know the friend I'm talking about. I ain't talking about the ones that been doing the interviews. I ain't talking about the ones that being on Front Street. I ain't talking about the ones that been getting death threats. I ain't talking about the one that got Donald Trump's lawyer. I ain't talking about that. I ain't talking about that one. I'm talking about the shouty. But black people, but I ain't gonna say it's a lot of buffoon monkey boys. You know what I'm saying? I ain't. I'm gonna try not to cuss. I'm gonna try not to cuss so I can, follow the YouTube guidelines. So I can try to jump off the channel. So I'm gonna try to do this respectfully. Uh, you know, not calling people names and stuff like that. Because you know that the C word been thrown around, and I guess I've been seeing within the YouTube streets. If you if you saying the C word, you know what I'm saying. Uh, Soon, you know what I'm saying. It look like that they tripping, just like that. It's kind of like one of them flag words. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be a red flag. So we trying to, you know what I'm saying? We trying to go nationwide and international. You know what I'm saying? We trying to pop up on uh Como. You know what I'm saying? We trying to pop up on Como one day. You know what I'm saying? Like the boy Brandon Tatum, man. Shout out to Brandon Tatum holding it down for the black Americans, you know what I'm saying, going in and go get that information that could nobody else get. That could nobody else get. Everybody talking, everybody saying this, talking down, hating, and all they doing is really on some police. They acting like the laws. And I guess they want black people to put that battery in their back and, just go on and just, take the story and say, well, you know how they like tainted the game. They tainted the game in the beginning by saying little stuff like, well, it was just Nolan Well and three of his friends, and they mysterious got his phone. You know what I'm saying? They, throwing out all these little buzzwords to make it, to make it seem some type of way. They got the public looking crazy. You know what I'm saying? Uh, got the public looking crazy at his folks. You know what I'm saying? And now the folks is getting, you know what I'm saying? They trying to get at them. You know what I'm saying? And it don't even matter if they was white or black or Mexican or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's all some police stuff though. You know what I'm saying? That's going on from the crowd. I ain't even talking about the laws. I'm talking about people don't even know what's going on. And it been a lot of black people, man, displaying this behavior. You know what I'm saying? And it's giving me black fatigue. You know what I'm saying? For real though, but it's black fatigue for busters though. You know what I'm saying? Busters. You know what I'm saying? And they just really just suckers. You know what I'm saying? That's just really just followers. You know what I'm saying? Letting folks put batteries in their back, and just off the rip, they act like they don't like white people. Yeah, they just act like they don't like white people. As soon as white people start agreeing with them and saying, repeating what they saying and doing what they doing, they pull them on board and protect them. That's the homies. They bringing them in as long as the white boy agreeing with them. You know what I'm saying? But then you still dealing with the white boy though. You know what I'm saying? They just be trying to act like that they pro black. that they all for black. You see how they did? And yeah, let me not disrespect. Long live Nolan Wells. You know what I'm saying? Off the rip, I ain't get to put that out there. Long live Nolan Wells. You know what I'm saying? But you see how they did his friend Tristan. You know what I'm saying? Said he ain't black no more. He mixed. You know what I'm saying? They ain't trying to serve him no Gatorade and water wherever he was at. People try to call him out. Woo, 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 woo. All because of busters, squares, acting like they really hate white people, but work with white people, deal with white people. And some of them got white baby mamas and mixed kids. As long as a motherfucker agreeing with them, nigga, they'll pull them in. That's you a buster to me, and you goofy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, I'm finna start a series on how Brandon Tatum got a lot of black people turning goofy, hating, hating on a brother coming up in this YouTube world doing his thing, but because he take a different stance than uh, most black people, you know what I'm saying? Uh, Now he a white nationalist. He soon, you know what I'm saying? He uh he ain't for black people. He hate black people. You know they just try to just you know what I'm saying cancel you. See, that's that Democratic play, man. The busters. You know what I'm saying? They the laws on the. I'm trying to tell you, man. They the laws in real life. And then they act like they just so pro black and really trying to find out for Nolan Wells, but they really just trying to make sure people hit their channel. They really just trying to make sure that people tap into their show. And they run with this conspiracy. See, conspiracy is big in America. The reaching is big in America. In America, that's big business. Reaching is big business. And they using Nola Wells to make sure people tapping in. They thinking that they hearing something, but what they saying to make people tap in. Oh, this person did something to him. This person did something to him. This person did something to him. His friend this. His friend that. Police. Police. Yeah, get away from me. Yeah, you all bad. For real though. They be saying, man, why you stepping in if they saying that it's the white boys, why you got something to say? Like, nigga, you don't it ain't been no evidence to say that. If that's the case, why they ain't locked up? And then we gonna look at it. You know what I'm saying? Cause I may make this a series, episodes, a series. There's a lot going on, man, with this and man, black people just got us looking weak, man. And they just man got the loudest mouth and they got us looking weak. I hate it. And they really think they doing something by saying, yeah, it's a white person. We hate white people. Woo, woo, woo. And you hate white people so much. Go do something. Like man, like come on, man. I'm just talking. Handle your business, man. But they got all the smoke for Brandon Tatum, though. But going off what somebody done put a battery in their back, and we fist to find out, and we fist to see where that happened. We fist to see when all that happened. Hold on, real quick. Let me go and get the producing skills up. Make sure that you're pulled up and rolled up. I'm glad that this showed up. To comment, like, subscribe, tell a friend, and tell a friend, and do it again. Yeah, man, we on that gas monkey right now. You know what I'm saying? Playing with the gas monkey and the swisher. You know what I'm saying? On that Smizzo. But this where it all started at right here, though. Now, this was a month ago. Now, this was a month ago. This was the first press conference. Yeah, we gonna break this down and just see how goofy and how the battery be put in niggas and be put in black people backs and how the battery can get put in our backs, stir us in a direction that ain't real. And it's somebody else fight. And when I say it ain't real, not saying that this situation ain't real or whatever, but what I'm saying, no, they doing a job to try to do whatever they trying to do. You know what I'm saying? But it's based off speculation. It's based off it ain't based off no facts. It's based off the speculation in the way that they frame it to be able to, put the battery in your back. You know what I'm saying? If it's frame it this way, gonna put it out this way, that should be able to get the people kind of going and whoop 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 whoop. And that's why the temperature is hot around this story. This is a hot story because of what we first look at right now on how when people coming out. And just like I say, this is kind of like I say, I'm trying not to say the words because it's a lot of cuss words or stuff like that. So I'm trying to get the page going and stuff like that. But it's a lot of girl stuff going on. The B girl, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of B girl stuff going on, and B B B girl stuff going on. You know what I'm talking about? And it's just man, it's just sad to look at. And it's like I say, I know that it's like you know, the mother trying to get more information. You know what I'm saying? Whenever the laws came, first came out with little uh their first little press conference about it, you know what I'm saying? I guess they just didn't, say some things that the parents couldn't accept. And I understand that the parents couldn't accept that. You know what I'm saying? But when we learn more about the situation, and we learned more about the situation through Brandon Tatum. If it wasn't for Brandon Tatum, it'll be a lot more speculation going on. And with the speculation and how the battery being put in people's backs, especially black people backs, now people is being sued. So now we got Nolan well friends, attorneys, because they got the give and GoFundMe thing going on. The give and go gift, and go, something like that. I think they up to what's that 2,000? I don't know if I think I'm trying. I said 2,000. I think they up to 200,000. You know what I'm saying? I think they up to 200,000, and I don't even think it been a week. They up to 200,000, and they saying that we are Nolan Wells friends that's being targeted. They being targeted with death threats. Their family being targeted with death threats. People tripping with them because of what we supposed to look at right now because of they're trying to find answers, but they have a particular way that they are getting the answers. They got their own little way on how they gonna do their investigation and kind of how they find out whatever they gonna do. But it's looking shaky whenever it become a nationwide story, a hot story, and everybody tapped in. Everybody want answers. Everybody trying to hear something. But it's when we hear it from the initial, from the victims and the people that's speaking for the victims, the victim family. Uh, that's a bad battery. You know what I'm saying? For my analogy, for my for my recollection, from my speculation, from me just looking at it from the stands, just looking at the game, the the way they put it out there first is the reason that a lot of people fist to get sued. The reason that it was a dysfunctional battery. That's what I'm saying. The batteries is cool to make. Everybody gonna get a battery. Yeah, that's all good. But what type of battery is they putting in your back? You know what I'm saying? Is it gonna make you crash out and do something for a situation that ain't really a real program that got you in the matrix? And the battery got you crashing out because they trying to figure out the matrix. You know what I'm saying? The battery is toxic and it took you to the matrix. You can't control it. Once the battery get in your back, you're done. Everybody gonna get a battery though from some type of information. But the information that we getting, it's information that's more fitted for the family and not for the public. Family, not for the public, because the family is invested. The public is they you know what I'm saying, they ain't got no dog in the fight. The family got the dog in the fight. They trying to figure out what happened to their family. People on the outside is looking in, speculating, want to try to give an opinion to help out the family. But within situations like this, you got to keep it trill. You got to keep it trill, or with misinformation, people can be targeted off of misinformation. That's what I'm saying. We done seen this many a times within uh within certain communities where things get extra out, things get blown over, things get blown out the way from how it not really is. And now we got a situation where we got funk and we got beef, but the original situation, wasn't even that. But it's because of how things was worded and how somebody came off, you know, uh, cry sheep. You know what I'm saying? Cry wolf. I mean, this the cry wolf. This the cry wolf analogy. You know what I'm saying? We crying wolf, but we ain't even seeing no wolf. We don't even see the evidence. We just heard it. We just heard somebody say the wolf is right there. The wolf is coming. The wolf right there. The wolf is right there. But somebody just said it to us, so we turn around and we looking at the game. It's like, hold on, okay. The wolf probably hiding. We looking in the forest. We trying to find it. You know what I'm saying? But with the people that's bringing us the information, they would think that they can point us in the right direction to find the wolf. So they point us in the direction to find the wolf, but it's the wrong game. We wasting our time looking over here in this area. The wolf, you saying it's that. But when we get uh an advanced version of that area and what's going on in that area, you want us to look at and say, "Yeah, the wolf is over there." When we get more of a 3D version, we can get more of a breakdown, see what's really going on over there. It's like, nah, that ain't looking like the wolf over there. But because of the original story that was put out and how this business model it works, they got protocol, they got certain steps that they have to do. They gonna put out because this is the steps of their protocol of what they do with their job. And I ain't hating on nobody's job. I ain't hating nobody doing whatever they do. They do what they do. But uh, when you doing what you do, lives can be in danger. You know what I'm saying? And when it's that type of situation, now we got people going to jail that ain't got nothing to do with the case in a whole nother state going to jail. Uh, we got people um, that's getting sued or fit to be sued if they don't do an apology because they said this and said this and said, well, this person did this and this person did that. And I guess within the land of the law, that's breaking the law over here. So we're going to see where that goes. But it's like I say, shout out to Brandon Tatum for being the first and only black man to go down in the so-called racist Mississippi. Everybody say Mississippi, yeah, that we okay. We know the history, we know the history, but it's 2026. It's 2026. And we got a young black brother that was kicking it with white people was seemed like he was cool with he was one of them people that's cool with white people. I had partners like that. You know what I'm saying? They grew up in the neighborhood with us, went to elementary with us. When we went to middle school and high school, they ended up hanging out more with the white people. They ended up having white girlfriends. They ended up talking a little white. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause that's who they started hanging out more at school and after school. You know what I'm saying? But they really from the, you know what I'm saying? They really from that side. You know what I'm saying? But people have different friendships. People have different interests. We in America. Everybody black ain't gonna like the same thing. Everybody white ain't gonna like the same thing. Some black and white people gonna like the same thing. So it's that dynamic what's going on that I see right here. And uh, just like I say, the framing, how we got the framing in the initial was, that's what put the battery in everybody back that got everybody feeling a certain way. And then when you got Brandon Tatum kind of go against that, what who's working from the family put out, and he go do his own due diligence and go talk to the people that was there with Nolan Wells and what's some of the first people to see him. And I mean, what's the people that he went out there with, and you know what I'm saying, the people that his friends. You know what I'm saying? Getting details, getting more stuff and this is a black man. So if Mississippi and all this is so racist, why are they doing an interview with a black man? They killing up black people. They don't respect black people. It's all bad. Why are they doing an interview with a black man? Then some people say, well, some Soons get to be able to do whatever they, can do because they Soons and the people know they Soon. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, man, stop it. They keeping it trail. We ain't talking about 1920. This is not 100 years ago, 1926. This is not 60 years ago. 1966. It's not. It's 2026. It's a whole different world going on. And I ain't saying that it ain't white people in America that don't like black people, but them numbers is very slim. Them numbers is very slim, and with the generation that's right now, as far as that high teen, early 20s, that ain't they don't have that mindset like the old heads do. The ones that was born in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, they ain't got that same mindset. They ain't see that. So when we got certain people putting in certain areas and bringing up Emmett Till and all type of stories like that to put batteries in people back to make people feel a type of way, buzzwords, some people pull that into question like, man, what's up, man? Why you doing that? Why you why why you putting in that play? Why you know what I'm saying? Now they saying that he's the ambulance chaser, he's this and he's that. But at the end of the day, he really just trying to help the people in the way that he do it. But that's his get down. That's the way that he get down. That's the way that he uh try to find answers and do what he do. But it's like, hold on, if and it's like I say, if it wasn't for Brandon Tatum, if it wasn't for Brandon Tatum to be able to get that information, we'll be more lost in the sauce and be having that same type of speculation because we got this story, this story right here. So I done kind of over talked. We at 26. Man, make sure that you're pulled up and rolled up. I'm glad that you showed up to comment, like, subscribe, tell a friend, and do it again. Even though only one person in the chat, we ain't got too many people sliding through. But if you do ever catch this on the playback, make sure that you got your Swisher ready.
Good afternoon. To my right are the parents of Nolan Wells, and we'll hear from them. And of course, attorney of Black America, Ben Crump, and attorney Park, you'll hear from. I want to let me say at the outset that when I received the word of what happened to Nolan and began hearing what was pieced together, it is clear that this situation must have the most thorough and objective investigation to lead to justice. What we've been told does not make sense. And being that there is lack of confidence in the local authorities, who have already, in my judgment, seemed to mishandle where it was going. Because
Okay, so when so when so I agree that the police probably fumbled it by saying, okay, in the beginning, as soon as they found the body and said, okay, it wasn't no foul play. It was, it was a drowning. That they, without no autopsy, without no, um, without no thorough investigation and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure that the mother didn't accept that. I'm pretty sure that the mother didn't accept that from what for what the police first said and the DA, they just wasn't going to accept that off the rip. So I can see, uh, them making the call and say, "Hold on, this don't sound right." You know what I'm saying? They ain't had no body exam. They ain't did this. They ain't did that. They just saying there ain't no foul play. And it seemed like they just kind of just throwing it. It just kind of just seemed like that they just kind of just throwing it away. Hold on, real quick. So, and shout out to the mother. You know what I'm saying? She did lose a son, and I would hate that because I got a teenager son, 17, 16. Got a daughter, fixed to be 21. You know what I'm saying? And they around that age. You know what I'm saying? I'll be devastated. You know what I'm saying? I'll be devastated. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know what I would do because I ain't never. I mean, I have lost a child, but it was long live Kyrie. He was a baby though. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like some something like this, but it was still devastating. So I uh, definitely got love for the family. You know what I'm saying? And my condolences goes to them. But uh, just like I say, when we looking for the suspects and we trying to find him and we trying to do our little investigation thing. You know what I'm saying? There's some people that's gonna get it's gonna be some people that's gonna be suspects. There's gonna be some people that ain't suspects. You know what I'm saying? So I don't never want to make a decision until we got facts, we got more credible. Because I wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? We can just kind of go off what hearsay, and this is the start of the hearsay.
Just immediately before a week, nothing done wrong, when we hear that this young man was engaged in some kind of argument that was on tape, that his cell phone and keys ended up with one of the people that were there.
So he said that it was a young man. See, so he's saying that he said that Nolan Wells was on tape arguing. And I think that and I think that that was debunked it. You know what I'm saying? I think that was debunked. Uh, so hold on. Let me see if I can find that clip. Hold on. Let me see if I can find
Excuse
that
me,
clip
sir.
real quick. Because that's crucial. He said he was arguing.
On camera? In each other's face, unless they're like, I don't know, proximity to each. He could be drinking camera pan. What's going on right here?
Okay.
Is there something weird going on here?
So we
Or
got this situation
is
right here.
nothing going on? Take a look at that photo.
So
Now, to me,
they saying it was an argument. Saying it's the video, it was an argument going on, but somebody came out and said, "No, that was me." So this ain't Nolan. So just like I say, it's a lot of stuff that being thrown out there. And stuff is being thrown out there. Uh, but it ain't, it ain't, it ain't, it ain't, it ain't, it ain't stamped. You know what I'm saying? It ain't stamped. You know what I'm saying? That's not stamped. For him to say this right here.
We hear that this young man was engaged in some kind of argument.
He was in an argument. Now, he didn't say when, he didn't say who with, but he said it was the video, but that video was debunked.
That was on tape. That his cell phone and keys ended up with one of the people that were there on the island and got away.
His cell phone and keys was with somebody that was there that got away. Do you hear the
one
framing?
black with 3 young white men.
Do you hear the framing? Do you hear the framing?
Argument that was on tape. That before a week, nothing done wrong. When we hear that this young man was engaged in some kind of argument that was on tape, that his cell phone and key.
And you got this woman over here shaking her head. You got this woman over here shaking her head. Like that's a fact. See, that's that battery being put in black people backs. Like, come on. That's the type of stuff I'm talking about right there. That's the type of stuff I'm talking about right there. That is why people getting sued, people going so hard in their videos, people threatening.
Grand Canyon University. This is purpose-driven education. Visit gcu.edu.
We promise a 10-fold refund if it doesn't work. Traditional dentures can cause jawbone loss and alter your facial contours over time, but these dentures completely avoid these problems.
You want to know what I just found out? Okay.
Let's see.
And this is Nolan right here.
Oh, this is it right here. Yeah, okay, this is it. So that's what I'm saying, man. You got people making these type of videos, doing this old goofy stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Get into it, and they're trying to say allegedly it was the group that Nolan was with. And this,
now
there's a lot of stuff coming out. And I said we was going to talk about it, so let's get into it. Now, allegedly there was a confrontation. Not sure exactly if Nolan Wells was involved in that confrontation, but there are some people on the internet that is saying that the group that he was with had a confrontation within the group. And now, as you can see right here in this picture, I'm going to play a video, but this is a still shot from the confrontation that someone filmed, and you can actually hear someone get into it. And they're trying to say allegedly it was the group that Nolan was with, and this is Nolan right here. Now, shout out to Anna C. Moore for the video. We're going to play this video. You got to listen real close. You're going to hear individuals having a confrontation, arguing in the background during this time. So if you listen closely to the video, you can hear some individuals arguing in the background, and they pretty upset. And that's what people are saying, that group is the group that Nolan Wells was with. Now, if this turned out to be true, some facts that the group he was with was having a confrontation, and maybe he was involved, who knows? Then that's gonna raise some eyebrows about him coming up missing and his friends going back, and Nolan not coming back with them. Now, there's also some comments from the internet or people trying to, like confirming that it was an argument with his group. This person said right here that one of the passengers on their boat is pretty certain that Nolan was a part of the group that was almost fighting around 5 p.m.
Around 5 p.m. So you know that we got shout out to Brandon Tatum once again for giving us that good evidence, for giving us that good source, for giving us that good information that they was gone by 4:30. The people that was saying that Nolan Wells was out there with 3 white dudes and he was the only black dude. You know? With the video with the so-called enhanced audio. With the so-called enhanced audio that whenever they was making the call, that's when they was trying to get rid of Nolan. One of my passengers is pretty certain he was part of the group that was almost fighting around 5 p.m. The Bertram with the blue top that I posted left shortly after that and pretty fast.
So some people got 4 or 5 all these different times. Then you also have someone else that's saying they were fighting amongst them.
Were they among themselves, people? Okay. Amongst themselves or other people? Were they fighting amongst themselves or other people? That's the question I have. The 3 people on my boat that saw it, I'll say it was amongst themselves. So now we got court stuff. Now we got conflicting.
Themselves. So they are confirming that the group that Nolan Wells was with was having a confrontation amongst their group. And somebody else said that 3 people on my
But there was past 4. It's past 4:30. I mean, it's 5 o'clock. They saying it's 5 o'clock.
boat saw it, and they all say yes, it was amongst themselves. So the group that Nolan was with allegedly had a big confrontation out there where they either got to fighting or almost fighting. But still, for them to have a heated argument, then he come up missing and everybody else go back home, there's some questions that need answers. Now, there's someone who also said that they were anchored there too in their boat, and they said that they left very quickly after a fight around 4-ish. So you got a little different times, but you have a lot of people, witnesses out there that are confirming that a get down definitely happened between the group that Nolan was with. Now, Nolan's cousin, I don't know the relation, but clearly family is going to be upset, especially with all of the different stories that's coming out about who did it, who done it, and what happened, and all this kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation platform made for anyone with an idea and a drive to bring it to life.
So she said this. Y'all know this is some BS. An arrest needs to be made soon. My little cousin didn't deserve that. Nolan was in college playing football, hoped to be in the NFL, and a family who loves him dearly. I love you, cousin. She's upset. Now, she got in the comment section. Now, she wanted the guys that he was with to be arrested because, people saying, we got an Oreo cookie situation here. And people are saying that the people that Nolan was with may have been.
People are saying it's because of this right here. Because of this. And this woman over here shaking her head like that video that we just heard or whatever was Nolan. But somebody came out and said that was them.
Ended up with one of the people that were there on the island and got away. Ended up with one that his cell phone and keys ended up with one of the people that were there on the island and got away.
His cell phone and keys was with one of the peoples that was there and got away. His keys was already at the house. So you see how they framing it? You see how they frame it? They got away. This the battery. This is the battery, man. And we gotta be more seasoned. You know what I'm saying? We gotta be more seasoned than just to, you know what I'm saying, get hyped up off the first press conference. This the first press conference, right? And look at all the dope that ended up not being good dope. This ended up not being good dope. What he said right here.
To just immediately before a week, nothing done wrong, when we hear that this young man was engaged in some kind of argument that was on tape, that his cell phone and keys ended up with one of the people that were there on the island and got away. He was one black with three young white men who happened to end up with his phone, happened to end up with his keys. Then there's just too many questions.
One black boy with three black boys. They got his cell phone and keys. They got away. Come on, man. How's that not pointing to them right there? How's that not saying, man, we gotta look at these people right here. These three people. These three guys is in questioning. How's that not accusing? Now they ain't said names. My bad. But come on now. If that was my sons and them, I'll be like, come on, man. Come on now. That's some BS. That is some straight BS to just come out and say that. But then once we peel back more of the layers of the onion, that ain't even the case. But this is the first thing that you say. This is what got everybody hyped up.
Where we're going. Nothing done wrong. When we hear that this young man was engaged in some kind of argument that was on tape, that his cell phone and keys ended up with one of the people that were there on the island and got away. He was one black with three young white men who happened to end up with his phone, happened to end up with his keys. Then there's just two. He was that his cell phone, we hear that this young man was engaged in some kind of argument that was on tape.
That was debunked. We got a shaking the head. That was debunked.
That his cell phone and keys ended up with one of the people that were there on the island.
What you mean it ended up, his cell phone and keys ended up with them? He left his keys with them at their house that he spent the night at the night before. He left his, they say that the cell phone was on the boat with everybody else's cell phones. They got his cell phone and got away.
And got away. He was one black with 3 young white men who happened to end up with his phone, happened to end up with his keys. Then there's just too many questions that they should not be closing the investigation. Now, I'm from Brooklyn, so I'm a little different than some of y'all. I was built different. My nose is out here, my eyes are here, my brain is here, which means some things I can smell before I could see and before I can figure out. This does not smell right. So some people are saying, Reverend, are you?
It doesn't smell right because it's 3 white boys. It's only 3 white boys. That's a lie. He went there with 30 people on 3 different boats. 10 people on the boat. Not just 3 people. Do you see the framing? This is the battery. This is the corroded battery that make you crash out for nothing.
Y'all bringing in race? Well, we're not. This does not smell right. So some people are saying, Reverend, are y'all bringing in race? Well, we're not bringing in race, but we're not discounting race either, because we don't know what it is. So to tell us don't rush to judgment saying it was racist is fine. But then I'm telling you, don't rush to judgment saying it was not racism, because we do not know. We do know what these parents are being told and what the parents have now shared with us does not make sense. How do you end up a young, promising football player, not in trouble, mother and daddy at home, everything we tell him to do and be? They go on the 4th of July, on the anniversary of this country, going to an island, we're outing with his friends, and the friends come back, and he's left there with some story about, he said, leave them behind. But then by some magic, one of the friends has his keys and his phone. Mind you, his mother leave back, and he's left there with some story about the country, going to an island, we're outing with his friends, and the friends come back, and he's left there with some story about, he said, leave them behind. But then
With some story about, he said, leave them behind. Like, man, this is the corroded battery that's being put in the black community back. And shout out to Brandon Tatum for going to go get the information for the black community, went into the white community and went to go get the information and shared it with the black community. Got the black community making money on YouTube from their reactions. He still don't get no love. Hey, they busters. I just be acting like they black out. Nah, you a buster. Straight up.
by some magic, one of the friends has his keys and his phone.
By some magic, his friend have his keys and the phone. They ain't talked to the friends or anything yet. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, how they ain't talked to these people. So, I guess the argument is now is that I guess the people gonna say now, but they ain't telling, but they didn't tell the family the same thing they told Tatum. From what it look like right now, it looked like they ain't even talked to the kids. But it turned out they never did. This team right here, this little team got the Chinese person back here shaking her head, hyping shit up. She don't know nothing about this white man over here. They talking about white people like they don't do. They got the white man on their team. This the corroded battery for the fake crash out, and it's tainted. And the black community don't like when black people call it out. Like, man, hold on, man. You don't see this? Oh, you must be a square or something. Yeah, I understand everybody and their feelings, but this ain't adding up. But when we get this in the beginning, when don't nobody know nothing, it's like, man, come on, man. There's a lot of extra being put on it, but this is what happens. Don't nobody know nothing. So we gonna say, y'all, it's a mystery. We don't know how they got his keys, and they got away. How they get his keys and his cell phone, and they got away? 3 white boys and just Nolan. 3 white boys. Come on now. You see how the framing is? This is the corroded battery, and black people just being charged up off of it. A fake charge up. Instead of being like, all right, hold on, man. Let's really look at the game. Let's really look at it. Let's really look at the game. Let's really look at it. Once again, shot, and that's when Brandon Tatum went and did his thing and really looked at it. Went down there, and did his thing. Right now, people mad at him because he got the information from the other side. But it said, okay, well, the family said it's them. Why are you trying to protect them? He would just go holler at them, and they talk to him. Why the family ain't talk to these people? But it's like I say, they got their protocol. They got the way that they do their investigation. I guess whenever they hook up with this group, and they got their format on how they gonna do it. And this is not good for the black community where we got these people doing this. And people finna learn a lesson. People finna learn a lesson. They getting sued, going to jail, being in some business that ain't even got nothing to do with you. And you ain't even got you don't even know everything about the case. They ain't even had the grand jury and presented everything. The police ain't even came out and said what they got. You going off this.
Oh, mind you, his mother tracked down the phone. They didn't voluntarily tell her they had his phone.
The mother tracked down the phone. It turns out that the one friend called the mother. The friend called the mother and asked if he can call the Coast Guard to see if somebody can help, if it's cool for him to do that. Because he ain't popped up yet. Like, and the person that went to go get his phone, because they went back to go get the keys later, but the person that went to go get the phone, they kids was with them. Also, some other black kid, they was kicking it with the white boys.
They didn't voluntarily say they had the keys. So if they had not been tracked down, we don't have the phone. They didn't voluntarily tell her they had his phone. They didn't voluntarily say they had the keys. So if they had not been tracked down, we don't know if they ever would have known where it was. Some of this doesn't make sense. So we are absolutely a National Action Network and other groups.
Why wouldn't it been tracked down if the person that was with their son called them and they got the phone from him? And because I guess they didn't say, well, hold on, his keys is over here. You gotta get that too. So because of that, and they had to come back and get the keys, and everybody worried. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of tension because it's like, hold on, where he at? He ain't popped up, or you know what I'm saying? They didn't get the bad news or whatever. I don't know what was already done yet, but you know what I'm saying? It was a little bit of plex. It was a little bit of plex doing the it was a little bit of plex whenever they go get the keys with the family and you know what I'm saying and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So they saying that that's funny, that's a funny situation, and with the police coming out saying that they closing the case, it wasn't no foul play, it was a drowning, and they ain't accepting that. So I can kind of feel them having some pushback right there on both of them.
Going to rally behind this family. I told them that whatever.
But that first little that 3-minute spiel that he just gave up that we just listened to, man, that was, I don't want to say cap because he's trying to help the family, but he put a lot of extras on it, and that ain't even the case from what it turns out. Now, from from all the information that we done heard since this, because it been a month ago, it been a month since this video happened. So there been a lot of information that came out since then. And this video right here look crazy. This video right here look crazy compared to all the information that then came out here recently. It's over a month.
We can and need to do, we will do it because this smacks of some of the worst fears that we've had historically, not only in Mississippi, but in this country. And we are there until the end with them. I've been asked by the family to be in Mississippi for the funeral to officiate, which I'm going to do. We just got off the phone with Tyler Perry, the actor who says he wants to help cover whatever expenses for the funeral. We have with us Spike Lee is in the house. Many of our people that have always supported families are there. This is not about them trying to raise money. We're going to take care of that. This is about, though, they got to keep going forward. But we want justice and let the chips fall where they may. If it ends up being one way that we suspect was wrong, fine. But if it's another way, don't back up and play games with this. They are not activists or lawyers. So they only want justice for their son. I'm an activist. When we get there and they say we heating things up, that's what we do. Because sometimes you got to make people sweat to get the poison out there.
So they just come through saying stuff, pointing at this, pointing at that, pointing at this. You know, making the story hot, getting the story out there to try to, you know what I'm saying, to try to, you know what I'm saying, to try to get some information. But it's bad work though. It ain't real. It's not it's not it's not helpful for black people moving forward in America to continuously in my eyes cry about white people. Yeah, I'm getting a black fatigue with black people crying about white people every day. Every day. Every day, man. It's like crazy, man. It's like so weak, man. I just can't. I'm like, man, we just be looking weak. And it's like, you know what I'm saying? Everybody ain't cut a certain way, but it's like, dang, you know what I'm saying? I understand like people probably I look at it like some squares, you know what I'm saying? But ain't nothing wrong with being a square. But it's like what you really went through like that to really, you know what I'm saying, to be amped up and you more like be on some white stuff. You know what I'm saying? But you turned up so more at the white people because of okay, it's like I say, I understand the historical facts. I understand the historical and the feelings for that. But if it ain't trill, it ain't trill. Now, if it's some goofy stuff going on, yeah, we're gonna turn up. Black people gonna be behind, and we gonna fully support. But to just jump out and say, well, and and say half truths, like, oh yeah, it was just three white boys and him, when it turned out to be thousands of people on the island, hundreds of boats, 30 people went with them in three boats. But then they say something like that, and then say, uh, you know that they got his keys and cell phone. Like they don't know how they got his. You know what I'm saying? It's like, come on, man. And then it got me thinking that okay, it's just I ain't really get to see Jason Whitlock video when he was talking about whenever he was talking about I guess there's supposed to be some a movie thing going on with with Nolan Wells' mother or something like that, or she's trying to do some movie stuff. But is Tyler Perry trying to get her into a movie, get her into this movie? You know what I'm saying? They do a movie. You know what I'm saying? Like probably to raise money, stuff like that. And you got Al Sharpton talking at the eulogy at the funeral, and that's a scene on the movie. Like, come on, this is crazy.
System. I'm the sweat man, and they are the parents that want to see justice for their son. Let me let you hear from Christine and Elmer Wansley, and then Attorney Crump. Let them. Yeah. Okay, Attorney Crump, and then we hear from the parents. Okay.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm going up with that, and that's we're gonna be together. Uh, Thank you, Reverend Al, for always answering the bell as you have done on so many occasions when families get the worst news of their life. And make no mistake about it, Christine and Elmo got the worst news of their life on what was supposed to be a joyous occasion where everybody was celebrating the 4th of July weekend. I'm Attorney Ben Crumpet, along with Attorney Lisa Park and Jared Presson and Camila Moore. We have the honor and the privilege of helping to lead an independent investigation on behalf of the family of Nolan Wells. Why do you say we need to be retained to lead an independent investigation? It is because the family has distrust of the Mississippi law enforcement officials giving them a fair investigation where their Black son ended up dead after going out on a boat with three young white men.
Do you hear that? I understand not being happy from what the police said, like the police got something to do with it now. Oh yeah, the police said he drowned. It wasn't no foul play. We really didn't see no foul play or nothing like that. Even though we doing the investigation, you know what I'm saying. We kind of closing the case though. You know what I'm saying. We kind of already know where this is going. You know what I'm saying. It have been drowned. It had been drowned on this island, this body of water. This ain't, you know what I'm saying. So this is how we gonna classify because we really don't got no other evidence to really kind of point that way. And I can see the family being like, hold on, you ain't did an autopsy, you ain't did this, toxicology, like you ain't broke down nothing, you just gonna just kind of just shut it down. I can kind of see, you know, so I can kind of see somebody being like, man, hold on, we gotta look at this again. But to say that he went out on the boat with 3 kids and it was just him, and that's how they started out, that ain't keeping it real, man. Now everybody got a battery in their back doing crazy videos, got the ET finger. Now they getting sued. People going to jail because of this goofies. Because coming up here saying stuff and making like assumptions, but fake assumptions to get the ball rolling, to get the story rolling. Yeah, 3 white boys and just him on the boat. Turned out it's hundreds and thousands. It's thousands of people out here and hundreds of boats. Like, come on, man. This right here, this is a month earlier. This is a month before. This ain't sounding good now with everything. Once again, shout out to Brandon Tatum for going up in the white community to go get the information. They say, oh, man, that information ain't true. They lying. Woo, 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 woo. You want to go get something. And people making money off of it. Black men still get talked down on, hated on. Man, we twisting in the head over here, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like I say, they be acting like, yeah, I don't like white people this, white people that. As soon as the white people start agreeing with them and agreeing with them and being on their side, they cool with that particular white person. Like white people on their side, they taking the donations, they riding with them, they can do a lot. They ain't tripping with them no more. That's they peoples. Like, man, stop. Yeah. These my peoples over here then. Goof ass.
The history of Mississippi is something that they don't just read about in books, but it's a lived experience for many Black Americans that oftentimes when our children are killed in highly questionable situations, that there is this notion that, oh, it was nothing wrong, no foul play, let's just sweep it under the rug. Well, we refuse to sweep it under the rug. We refuse to just let Nolan Wells' death be in vain. We're going to make sure that we get to the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, because Nolan deserves it. You're going to hear his mother and father talk about what a wonderful young man he was. I mean, doing everything right. Reverend Al, he was not only a college student, he was a great athlete. He was a model big brother for his brothers and little brothers and sisters. And he was a great son who was on the cusp of becoming a man. I mean, Christina Elmore did everything to prepare him for this moment. He was so close. He was right there. You're going to hear his father talk about him had a good football season last year, but this season he was really ready to go to the next level, to go to Division I. I mean, the highlights that you're seeing on social media of his athletic prowess, I mean, it is all relevant, because when you start talking about drowning. I mean, this is a kid who knew how to swim. This is a kid who was in tip-top shape. He was a superior athlete. And so I'm going to get to that in a moment, these glaring contradictions, but to try to say, oh, we're suggesting it was just an accident or drowning, go ahead and move on. Well, they are not accepting it. They are not accepting it. They want to know that you have not taken the path of least resistance, that you have done a full, complete, thorough, impartial investigation, because it cannot be lost on.
And ain't nobody hating on the investigation. You're gonna do the investigation. You're gonna do what you do. But the fake battery, the corroded battery, not keeping it trail, got black people going to jail right now. Black people in their feelings because the three white boys, and it was just him. Somehow they got his phone and they got away. Not saying names, but insinuating this situation. So everybody like, yeah, they only them went out to the island and it was just them and he just mysterious didn't go back with them. Three people are like, come on, man, that ain't even a story. So now we finding out the story from the people. We finding out more information. And it's like, man, come on, man. Now we all hyped up. Now we heard this and like, oh, we don't believe that because we already heard this. Now that get debunked. Oh, now we can't believe nothing. Now they trying to hide evidence. Now they putting a fix in. Come on, man, like the batteries. And people don't be seeing it. I don't know how people don't see the play. I guess it's kind of hard seeing the play if niggas didn't have Brandon Tatum on deck. To where you can stay in a conspiracy, stay, yeah, this, that. And you know what's so crazy? Once again, ain't nobody did a full court press on the white girl. Ain't nobody did a full court press on the white girl, and his partner say, hold on, he was hollering at her. Her story ain't coming out so-called, her story coming out shaky right now. No full court press because it's already invested into these three because this is the origin of it.
Anybody, but especially us in the black community. If the roles were reversed and you had three young black men on a boat with a young white man, and that young white man ended up dead, what kind of investigation would be being conducted by the...
That's to get the investigation started. See, that's what I'm saying. That's what I ain't feeling. And I ain't gonna never stamp that. Oh, yeah, we're gonna do it just because they white. Woo, 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 woo. Oh, yeah, do your thing. But then, some police shit. I mean, if you don't like white people, nigga, just go do your thing. Don't put no batteries in niggas back. Oh, yeah, let's go on and get a rally. You need some people to get behind you to go do your thing. Yeah, we gonna get it jumped off. Yeah, it was just three of them, and it was him. They went out there to the island, and he didn't come back. Man, there's thousands of people out there. It went from 3 people turned out. It's thousands of people out there, hundreds of boats. Like, come on, man.
Mississippi law enforcement officials. How many times would those 3 young black men be interrogated? So all we're asking is the same consideration you would have given if the roles were reversed, give that consideration to this family as well. That is our fight. The glaring contradictions just jump out at you. The fact that he is there with his friends, and you look at all the videos, it seems to be he's the only black on the island, or maybe one other, but not many.
That is crazy. That's crazy, man. That is crazy, man. And it's dang, boy, that's but this is this was the first cook up. This was the first whip. So this was ready for that whip up. We got something on deck. All right, and they told me to slide through. You know what I'm saying? I know you got something for me. Let me go and get. Okay, this is what it's looking like. This what it is. All right, I'm gonna go on and put that up. I'm gonna come back to that and get that off here a little bit later. I'm gonna put that up. Come back to it. It done fell all the way out. It don't even weigh the same. Weight all the way off. You done lost half for sure half. Man, what is this? Nigga, what you done sold me? Man, can't be fucking with you no more, boy. You know how the game go. This is it. This is bad dope.
And so, Jared, you have where a young woman he was talking to says that, well, Nolan said he was going back to get on the boat with the boys.
Now she said he was going back. We get deeper into it. They so called like right there, like not like she over like they over here, and he told, all right, I'm finna go over here, and I'm gonna catch up with you later. But I guess it was the interaction to where I guess his partners just yelling at him, "Hey man, go on, come on man, we finna get up out of here." He's like, "Nah, I'm finna go on and chill, whoop, 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 whoop. Y'all gonna keep it moving." But they saying that the female was right there though, so that's what I'm saying. Ain't nobody put a full court press on the female. She ain't did an interview. She ain't talked to nobody. She ain't talked to Oprah. She ain't talked to the View nigga. I mean, ain't none of the women I pulled her up out of there and got that interview. But because the fake dope right here, this fake cook up, but everybody was wanting something in the beginning, thinking it's trail. Now we done, you know what I'm saying? Days done went by, and people been out there smoking, people been out there doing their thing. You thinking you still got some fire on deck? You come back to it, it's shit, man. You ain't fit to get that off. But that was the foundation. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, nigga, I already got this going on. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you come back and come holler at me. And why would I come back and come holler at you? That don't even make sense. Why would I come back and come holler at you? You got me out here looking crazy. Like I say, man, some people getting sued and going to jail.
The boys say that Nolan told them he was going to stay and talk to the young woman. It's a contradiction. They're not saying the same thing. One of them is telling.
But they believe the woman. See, that's just democratic liberal woman movement, woman power and movement. We not gonna blame her. Man is crazy. Man is the number one American man is the number one murderers on earth. She didn't do nothing to him. I ain't heard a breakdown on her at all. Where's the full breakdown on her? Where's the interview? gonna look at some more information. It's turning out, just like I say, it's turning out that if anybody's story is fumbling, it's hers.
And the truth, one of them is not. We have to get to the bottom of that. It's important. And then the fact.
So it's been a whole month since they said this, and they still ain't put the girl on blast. Not on blast, but brought her to the people and said, "Okay, yeah, this is everything she told us. Matter of fact, she gonna tell you. Yeah, we got our own people doing the interview. We gonna show the world this. Okay, yeah, we taking her off. None of that. Why is that? The same thing with this old crazy stuff going on in the WNBA. The woman is always right. She can't do no wrong.
Reverend Al, that they have this video of an argument that is going on. And thank God all young people, they have cell phones, and anytime you hear people raising their voice, they start the video. And so you hear on the video, Nolan saying, "Give me my freaking phone."
He is lying. Man, come on, there is another lie. This been somebody came out and said that was me. Man, right in front of the parents, man. Like, come on, man, right in front of the parents and the family and family members. Like, this is ridiculous. Ain't nobody mad at him for this. Ain't nobody mad. Ain't nobody in the family mad. As of today, when we come back and come look at this happened a month ago, ain't nobody upset. Like, fam, what were you up there saying? Why were you saying all that?
What are you freaking doing? And that becomes even more relevant when you think about the story that they are presenting, that Nolan chose to stay behind. That's what they're saying. But his phone, he wouldn't take that with him if he's going to stay behind on an island. I mean, we're talking about an 18-year-old kid. What teenager would leave their phone behind if they're going to stay on this island? What teenager wouldn't take their phone? And so it's not adding up. It's not adding up at all. The fact, as Reverend Al said, they then take his phone with them. His mother, when she finds out that her baby is missing, they start trying to track the phone, the GPS the phone. They've used Life 360, and they discover that, well, the phone is on land. The phone is on land, but you're saying he went missing on the island. And so it's not adding up. And so they go get the phone. And you hear her tell herself, when her and her sister start going through his phone, Jared, they realize that they're deleted messages, so they're trying to figure out, well, why are they deleted?
Deleted messages. Okay, so have to this day right now, have the parents gave the phone to the police to where they can break it down, because the police can get in and see everything with the phone. See what being deleted, what ain't being deleted. They can see everything. It been a month. No, why wouldn't they come out and say, okay, yeah, this was deleted at this time and showing this. Okay, the tech is showing it was deleted at this. Why they ain't did none of that? I mean, I'm saying trying to get to some answers. Trying to get to some answers. Why they ain't did that? Had they turned the phone in to the police so that they can break it down? I don't even think they turned the phone into the police. I think they preserving everything. I guess that's why they did that little, not the little, but they, I guess they said they gonna be suing people to where they gonna be able to, I guess, put into play so that so that they can be able to get people phones to be able to look through people's phones, be able to look through everything in the phone from some, some type of play they gonna put down on some lawyer stuff. No, they have not handed the phone to the authorities yet, nor have they met with them and their technicians to extract the phones data. See, that's crazy. And for him to say, "Oh yeah, they cover," this is the first cook up. This is the first cook up. This is the first batch that they give to the people and say, "Okay, yeah, this what we got. This what's going on with the Nolan." It's like, come on, man. Wasn't nothing deleted off the phone. It wasn't just three people on the boat with him. They just didn't mysterious will come up with his keys and his phone. Like everything that they trying to highlight in the beginning is nothing but gaslight, is nothing but fake dope. Law enforcement had not issued a warrant for the phone either. Probably because they had GPS for the phone covered with no phone. Yeah, that's kind of well, uh, issuing a warrant for the phone. I mean, I would think, yeah. I don't know why not. I would think that would be something to really look into if this was, they say this right here.
Sister start going through his phone. Jared, they realize that there are deleted messages, so they're trying to figure out, well, why are there deleted messages on his phone? I mean, it becomes relevant when you start putting everything together where we can't just say, oh, there's no instance of foul play.
But everything you done put together ain't saying foul play. The argument. Oh, he had an argument. He telling them, give my phone back. That's debunked. Now they talking about, yeah, they was making a call to getting a boat, and we heard him in the background talking about Nolan in the background, and they did it to him right there. And they either kept the body on the boat, then they come back and dump the boat, or they but yeah, they end up doing it to him on the boat right then and there. Like, come on. He so called cited at 5 something after they left. Like it's more evidence coming out that the public didn't have, or just like I said, thanks to Brandon Tatum for going into the white community and bringing that information back to the people, to where people can look at it and say, okay, hold on, he said this, they said this, they be getting more information. They hating on that now. Now he's soon. Now he'll soon. You know what I'm saying? Now he'll moon. You know what I'm saying? Man, we delirious in the head over here. It's crazy.
We're going to get to the truth one way or the other. The fact that in this.
Now I understand you trying to get to the truth. I understand that. I understand the mother being like, all right, hold on. Y'all just coming out saying there wasn't no foul play. This is my son. He one of the greatest. You know what I'm saying? He just didn't die easy. I'm not gonna believe that he died easy like that. It gotta be more answers. I understand the mother coming like that. That's how I would come too. But I'm saying no. I'm not gonna gaslight anything else that I ain't gonna put that out there like that to put out a certain narrative. But you know, everybody got their own little way of doing it. You know what I'm saying? But for me, if that was me, for me to sit back and be like, he's saying all this, but that ain't really adding up like that. I couldn't just sit back and just let that happen, man. But they uh they reaching out for help, so they saying, okay, we gonna help you. This is our format, this is how we gonna do it. And they just going with the flow. They flying them out here doing the interview. They got them on Good Morning America. They got them on this, they got them on that. They flying them here, flying them that. Got Tyler Perry doing it, Spike Lee doing this, people helping, people donating. You know what I'm saying? So I can see them being, kind of letting them stir the ship. You know what I'm saying? I can see them letting them stir the ship. You know what I'm saying? And them kind of just saying, okay, where you gonna take us? Cause you done already did this before. But this ain't looking good now on the playback.
This really makes no sense to me, Reverend Al. This notion that where he drowned, y'all have, I'm sure, seen all the videos out there. I mean, if he's drowning, nobody sees him drown, nobody offers assistance, nobody tries to help him. I mean, obviously, he stands out. I think, the only black person I saw when I'm looking at the videos. And if you see him drowning, you mean nobody is going to try.
So he actually looked at the videos, knew that it was more than 3 white boys, and he really gonna get out there and say that. He really gonna get up there and say that was Nolan Wells arguing, and they don't really know if that's him. Like, don't come with didn't come with straight cold facts, straight reaching.
Try to help him. It's not adding up. It is not adding up. And that's why the family, at their behest, we had an independent autopsy being performed. And we thank Colin Kaepernick for helping to pay for that independent autopsy. And we thank Tyler Perry for helping to pay for the funeral. Because as Reverend Al said, these were just regular parents going about their life. They weren't expecting any of this. And then we're having to try to hire these experts to be able to go and see if they can retrieve deleted messages. We have to have experts. You'll hear from Attorney Park talk about, where the body was found when it was.
Okay, so they got their own experts. So they done had their own experts look at the phones and do all this, and they still ain't came out with nothing about the phone. Like, they came out with the autopsy, but there was nothing. But it's like when they made the crowd say ooh and ah, but didn't really, in the beginning, before the oohs and ah, really just explain uh, the reason for the throat not being there and the lungs and stuff like that, but made it seem like, oh yeah, they kept his organs. They but then kind of like, cleaned it up, but still put it out there. You know what I'm saying? Heartstring pulls, Pinocchio.
Recovered and how long it took to be recovered. We think all of those are relevant issues to trying to understand what really happened to Nolan Wells. And this independent autopsy is so very important because we had his body flown from Mississippi to Washington, D.C., because his family wanted to make sure that they had a doctor who had no ties to Mississippi law enforcement to do an independent examination of their.
So now they aiming at the law enforcement. Now it's about the law enforcement, not the 3 kids. But now the law enforcement is covering for the 3 kids, and there's people still saying that right now. You got one of the legendary rappers from the Ghetto Boys saying the same thing right there.
They had a doctor who had no ties to Mississippi law enforcement to do an independent examination of their son's body. And we are hopeful to get that results in the very near future. We were hoping we would have had it today. However, as you all know, here in New York, they canceled all the flights yesterday. And so it took a long time for his body to get to the medical examiner's office in Washington, D.C. But rest assured, as soon as we get those results, we will make them known to you because we believe transparency is very important.
What about the transparency with the phones, with the messages being deleted by the expert technicians that you hired? Can you present their evidence and what they work for? Because I'm pretty sure that it's taxpayer money. So go on and put out the evidence that the technician seen on his phone.
We want to lead by example. We want them to be transparent, and we want to be transparent. We know they conducted an autopsy. We are waiting on their results as well. The final thing I will say is this. If there are any people who are on that island, any young people who recorded videos, who witnessed things, who may have saw Nolan at any time on that island, please, please, please let us know. Please call bencrump.com, call the 800 number, just any information. They are desperate. We're in a ferocious pursuit for the truth. And y'all, if it was your child,
how are you in a ferocious pursuit for the truth if you haven't interviewed those 3 boys that you was talking about? You ain't sat down and talked to their parents. How you there for the truth? But I guess they got their certain way. They got their format on how they gonna get the truth. They not gonna do it the way that when I want them to do it, or that other people probably want them to do it. They got their certain format on how they do that. They professionals. They've been doing this for a long time, and I guess the way that they doing it, that's the way that you're supposed to do it. But that ain't true.
you want everybody who knew something to let you all know. This is a hard one, Rhea, because it's so tragic on so many levels. Rhea, before we bring the parents up, why don't we have Attorney Lisa Park, who is helping head up the investigation with our office.
Dude, guess how much it costs me to make sure my family gets $1 million if something ever happens to me? You'll never guess.
I don't know. It's got to be like $200 a month.
Nope. $37 a month to protect my family.
My name is Lisa Park. I'm the senior attorney for the Ben Crump Law Office in Atlanta. It is our honor to work with the family to try to find answers in this case. I think that most of you at this point are aware of Ben Crump Law and many of the cases that we represent in this country. Some of these cases you don't know anything about until we get involved and we shed some light and we explain to the media what has happened, and you all let America know what has happened. Mm-hmm. Sometimes cases come and you all already know about it. This is one of those cases. Yeah. I saw this in the news before I got a call from Ben. This was already huge in social media, already out in general media. Why? Why? Because it doesn't take an attorney. It doesn't take a special investigator. It doesn't take someone with extreme training to know right off there's something wrong here. This is, as Ben has put it, not adding up. It is so obvious. There are so.
It's so obvious what? That those 3 white boys that got his cell phone and his keys, they made it back, but he didn't make it back, but they was on the boat together. That's what's so odd. Come on, man. Come on. You letting this little Chinese woman put another battery in your back? It's corroded. It's a bad pack.
So many people in this country that go missing, right? Everybody knows this. But this case has captured everybody's attention. Think about why. You know that something is not right. It doesn't take us. It doesn't take the Reverend Al Sharpton, Ben Crump, to tell you and then think, oh, now I know something's wrong. We know something is wrong. And for every single person that was in Horn Island, and we know there's about 200 people, there's a lot of people. We know that Horn Island is a popular place during the holidays. It's a popular place on the weekends. You have to get there by boat. It's the only way to get there. You have to leave by boat. Mm-hmm. It's the only way to leave. So many people out there. If you are watching this, if you see this, and you are struggling about what to say or what to do, you know what the right thing to do is. Mm-hmm. Call Ben Crump Law. There's this thing called the internet. It's very easy to find that number. Call us. We have an entire call center. They're waiting to hear from you. If you didn't go to Horn Island, but you've heard something, because people are talking, they're talking with each other. They may not be calling the police, they may not be calling us, but you heard something. We need to know that. We need to know that. In America today, so many of us, we want to believe that the last several decades, we've made so much progress in our race relations, don't we? We want to believe that, whether you're Black or you're white or you're Asian, that's what we want to believe. We wanted to believe that this past 4th of July when we celebrated 250 years, right? If you want to believe that, you've got to be part of the solution. You've got to be part of that. You have to make it happen. And if you have information, please call us. It is incredibly important People out there, you have answers. You may not know exactly what your information means, but if you saw something, say something, please.
Anything else about the time? Okay. We'll take any question and answer.
All right, we're going to hear from the parents, and then we'll have Q&A. And what I want is, when we go to the media, identify yourself and your outlet so we know who is speaking. And let me say again that we're standing with this family till the very end and make sure we deal with justice. Let's first hear from the mother, Christine Wansley.
How do you do it all, Linda?
I don't know. I'm just efficient.
She's lying.
First of all, I want to say thank you, everyone, for being here. This is not how I wanted the world to meet my son, but here we are. So, as you know, I'm Christine Wells Wansley. I am Nolan Wells's mom. And Nolan is the kindest soul. He never met a stranger. He loved everybody. He didn't care if you were black, white, purple, green, looked like a marshmallow. Like, he just wanted everyone to be in peace with one another. He loved life, and God gave him this big heart, which always scared us. Me and his dad had conversations with him all the time, not just about the importance of understanding our history as Black people, but also the importance of how you have to move in certain spaces. And it's not us being, feeding into racism or the stereotypes that comes with that. Unfortunately, that is just a matter of fact. There have been many cases, many instances that shows that it's unfortunately a pattern that he did not like. He did not like that there was so much division, and I think that's why God gave him us. He was really a peacemaker. He wanted, like I said, everyone to be included. He never wanted to leave anyone out. He just, even at a young age, I don't know, he was, how old was he?
18.
No, not 18. When he was a baby. He did a little bit. So his father and I were having a moment. And as couples do, and even in that moment, he runs in the room with his diaper on, of course, and he starts dancing because it was like he could feel the tension. He could feel that something wasn't right. So he was just a special kid. Like, he was a special kid, but again, just heart was so big. And we're gonna miss him dearly. But we are grateful, especially to our friend Tashima, who actually was one of the people who helped us that night. She went and picked up his cell phone from where it was, and then provided that to us, because we of course contacted authorities to figure out who to do the report with, whether it was the county or the city, which then turned into DMR, who I contacted immediately from there. And, but.
So how you got the cell phone?
So our friend actually, when I called her, Nolan is best friends with her two sons, Jalen and Javon. When I called her, I said, Tashima, have you seen Nolan? He's missing. No one has seen him. No one has talked to him. The boys were actually with her sons, So they open up their Snapchat because a lot of the kids do have their locations where they're tracking one another. So one of the boys says, well, it's showing that I can't exactly remember what his location was showing, but my Life 360 location was showing something completely different. It was actually showing that his phone was like he was on land. And so we ended up, she received the phone from that parent. And then we met up where his car was, which was at a separate location. There were issues obtaining the key. But even so, there's just a lot of.
Tell them about what happened with the key.
So I'm gonna let my husband tell you about that because he actually went up to the door to get the key, because at that point, I was just not in my right mind. This has just been an awful situation, just terrible.
Elmore Wansley, the father.
Okay, so the situation with the key. When we got to the house, a few of his friends, they were already there. And they were at the door in the house, asking questions. So when I walked up, they were getting, things were getting kind of intense. So I turned to them and told them, I need you guys to calm down. I don't do this to me right now. I need them to kind of trust me so they can give me something. So I was able to calm them down. So the guy, he's in one of the pictures, but he came out of the room, half asleep or whatever, where I think Jack's or whatever. And I said, look, I'm Nolan's father. I'm here to get his keys so I can get his car. I said, his
car was in the yard.
His car was parked in the yard. So he was like, I don't know, man. Nolan's like my brother. I said, well, if Nolan was like your brother, would you please go in your room and see if you can find my son's keys so I can take his car home? He walks off, 2 or 3 minutes, come back. I can't find the keys. I said, okay. So at that point, I get the boys and I move them out the house because I didn't want them to go into the house and start tearing up these people's houses because there'd never be a hole in the situation. So walk outside by the car. One of the guys that was in the house with us, he was on the phone with a girl, and the girl told him that Nolan's keys were on top of this Jack's guy's Xbox in the house because apparently she was there with him earlier. So he goes back up to the door by himself, and 5 minutes later, the keys come out. So now I feel like you done lied to me. So now I'm really like in distrust with you. But as far as their night goes, if I knew anyone who had a boat, I would have went out that night looking for my son. We tried, but I don't have friends with boats. But if I knew someone with one, I would have went out that night. And this so happened that his coach saw all the stuff on Facebook that next morning and called and contacted me like 5 a.m, asked me, did we want to go out? And I told him yes. So within an hour, he was at the dock. We met him and we went out. We docked the boat, got out the boat, walked on the island, walked a pretty nice stretch, came back, got back on the boat, went around the island, looked, came back around, and where we went to, that's where apparently they say that his body floated up. I don't know a lot about water currents or whatever, but I would think that we would have saw his body. And on the trip there was a family that stayed the night on the island, like actually tented out on the island. So if he was left, he would have saw that family on the island, and it was 2 other boats docked, so he would have had help. So I don't know. I don't know. I think we stayed there for like an hour and a half. That's when Jackson County and the sheriff department showed up, and they were going to do their rounds. And I had a classmate of mine, him and his 2 boys, that came out and they searched, and then they got back in touch with me and said the Coast Guard had finally showed up in airplanes. So
what is so critical, what Elmore is saying is they went out on Sunday And the tide, if it brought his body up, he went missing on July 4th, as they say. His body should have been there on July 5th. Why would it not appear to July 6th? And that's one of those things that's just not adding up. And the fact that if he stayed behind on the island, there were boats there, there were people, somebody had to see something. That's why it's not adding up. And that's what they're saying. It's just not adding up.
And if he was there 2 days, somebody on the island would be able to verify that. 2 days and nobody's come forward and say, no, he was with us, or no, we saw him. It just does not make sense. Make it make sense.
Just one last thing. We want her to talk about the cell phone deleted messages. I'm sorry. I thought my voice was loud enough. One last thing. We want to have Christine talk about the cell phone from her perspective before they tell you who Nolan was, and then we'll take your questions.
So when we made it home, my sister and I actually went through Nolan's cell phone, particularly Snapchat, because that is so popular with the children. And when we opened it up, there was nothing. There were no saved pictures. There were no snaps from that day. And we did open it before the 24-hour expiration. So we found that very concerning, only because anyone who's ever been around Nolan will tell you at social gatherings, he's taking videos, he's taking pictures,
How did they open it up within the 24 hours if the last time that he had the phone so-called was on the 4th? So, okay, so I'm thinking that they had got it on the 16th. They probably did get it on the 15th. All right, my bad.
even come up to me when I'm getting ready to go to bed. Hey, Ma, come on, take a picture of me. You know, like that was Nolan. So that's why we feel that things may have been deleted, was because of the fact that there was nothing in either one of his accounts. But I do want to say this. I would hope that any parent who, God forbid, would be in our situation, I would hope that you would do the same thing. I would hope that you would ask for any help, receive any help to get answers, because at the end of the day, that's all we want. We just want to know. We just want to know what happened and why our baby didn't come home. Like that's our biggest thing. And we are so grateful to everyone, family, friends, classmates, United Cajun Navy, everybody that's assisted us. We appreciate you. There's not enough thank yous that we could say or give to you, but I just, we just want to know. We want an honest, thorough investigation. That's all we're asking for.
Parents, get your kids durable, machine washable Skechers Glide Step sneakers.
Do you want to say about who Nolan was, and then
Nolan is a person with a big heart. He's loved by not just his family, but the community. He's a born people person. He he really developed a bond with his baby brother because both of them play the same position. So he was really understanding the business side of the sport, which is football, and understanding that it's not just a game you playing. So the stuff that I was telling him, it was kind of starting to sink into him, and he was, really getting more in depth into it. And I could see as he did that, his baby brother really started getting more into it as well, as far as being more focused, because he saw, well, if my big brother is about to go do this great thing, then I want to do this great thing, but I want to do it better. That's why that's what made them so like vinegar and oil. They it was like they was always at each other, but they were the same. When I look at my youngest, I'll say Nolan, or when I look at Nolan, I'll say my youngest name. So they would train together. I would always say, hey, you did some push-ups, you the one ran some routes. And they know when I say that, next day they're out there running routes. Even my other son, he'll go out there. He doesn't play their position, but he will go out there and work and exercise and work out because they were understanding what I was talking about. They were growing, they were becoming men. So this was his time. He would always talk to me. I would always give him my advice about stuff. I always try to tell him what to look for. And as I always tell him, I said, son, I'm giving you this advice and I'm telling you this stuff, but you're gonna have to experience this. But when you experience it, it won't be foreign to you. You'll have some kind of idea of how to navigate through it. And I think me and his mother, I think we did a great job with that. That's why it's so hard for me to believe that he would choose to stay on the island. It just wasn't in his character. It wasn't his character. So Nolan is the funniest kid in our family. Speaking of the time she was talking about, yeah, we were having a kind of heated moment, and I don't know if you guys remember the dance called Stanky Leg. I think my son created it because we were sitting in that closet looking and just like talking. He literally came to the closet door and peeked around and stood in front of him and just started doing this little crazy dance. And I was like, we just bust out like whatever was arguing about, we stopped laughing. Then we called him to us and we just hugged and laughed and played. But then maybe 6 months later, the song did a hit. But we always said he created the Stanky Leg dance. But that's my greatest memory of my son.
What are you telling your other children about this?
My son Ethan, he's hurting. These are the ones these are the younger ones. He's like, Dad, I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm like, son, you gotta keep going because he would want you to be better. His youngest brother Elmore, the one that really worked out with him, he was like, I'm hurting, Dad, but I said, Nolan wants you to be the best he can be. He would want you to outdo him, and whenever you feel like you're in a bind or having some kind of problem, call on your brother, talk to your brother. My twins, the loss of a younger sibling is hurting them. They have to figure out how to navigate through life without him. And my daughter Carly, with her being away, it's really hard for her because she's not around family now. So she's out on her own, doing life what life does, but she's doing it on her own. So she has to do this by herself. We're here, by phone, but we're not there in person. So she really has to draw on the people that's around her when she's not home. So all together, my family, this is gonna be our new norm. He was the jester in my court, and yeah, he will be missed greatly, not by us, but by the whole community.
We will announce the funeral services when it is finalized, and we'll be going to help I will officiate at the funeral in Mississippi. Again, we'll take your questions, but identify who you are, and please be respectful. The families in mourning, but because they want justice for their son, they came to New York to make this appeal. But let's not make this a circus.
Hi. Now we're comfortable, let's talk urine leakage. Tena Men Maximum Guards are designed for men.
Yes.
First of all, I just want to say I'm so sorry about the loss of family. I have a couple of questions. When was the last time you heard from Nolan? Would it say, was there a call or? I have a couple of questions. When was the last time you heard from Nolan? Would it say, was there a call or a text? What was said during that last interaction? And also, how do you know that it's Nolan saying, give me my phone? What are you doing in that video?
Say that last question.
How do you know that it's Nolan saying, give me my phone? What are you doing in that video?
Yeah. Well, yeah, you were the second one is other children who are saying it was Nolan. Yeah.
So the last time we spoke and saw Nolan was July the 3rd. He actually cooked dinner for me, actually for us, because I had gotten off work. It's been really busy. And so he cooked dinner. It was salmon. He baked it. So proud. And then after that, he was just like, hey, Mom, I'm about to go. I love you. Gave us a hug, kiss, and he left. Which of course, you know, he knew we always looked at the Life 360. So there were times maybe he didn't call us to let us know when he made it, but we would see it. He would text at some point, but that was the last time we saw and spoke with him.
Sir.
Two questions. First, who was doing the independent autopsy in Washington, D.C.? And the second question is, as part of your independent investigation, have you declared?
So, once again, we got the video saying, Nolan, give me my phone.
Obvious contradiction. And then this video of this, you can hear an argument going where Nolan is saying, give me my freaking phone. What are you freaking doing? And so then his phone ends up missing.
All right, so this video here has been floating around on social media. Warren and his stepmother both stated that his last time seeing Nolan was around 3 p.m. The person that posted this video said that this took place around 4 p.m.-ish. You can hear altercation going on, and I believe that this is the one that Attorney Ben Crump is referencing. You kind of gotta like really listen in that video, and I guess somebody that knows Nolan's voice would be able to recognize it. So I'm not sure if that's the one they're talking about. That's the only video I've seen where you can tell it's an altercation. Y'all let me know in the comments.
I don't know any teenagers, Michael Strahan, who.
So hold on real quick.
Reach out to the other boys who's with and ask them voluntarily.
Dr. Roger Mitchell is doing the independent autopsy on behalf of Nolan Wells' family. And we understand that the young men have lawyers, so we would have to have their lawyers agree to let them speak to our investigators, and we have not attempted to talk to them as of yet. We have been attempting to talk to many of the students and people who are out there that we are aware of.
Okay. Right here.
Okay. Justin Finch, Inside Edition, asking a question here. First, for the family, wondering if you recall from your friend what was said to her by the people who gave her Nolan's phone, and for Attorney Crump, wondering for you, at some point, will that phone be given to police for their investigation and express interest?
Yes.
So the exact wording of the exchange, it was through phone, because again, we were busy trying to figure out who was going to take the missing persons report. Just because when it's in water, when it occurs on the island, it's not necessarily the city or the county, because then it becomes an issue of jurisdiction. So like I said, she went there and spoke with, I cannot remember, I'm so sorry, my brain is everywhere. But she went to the house and retrieved the phone. She said, I have his phone, the phone was okay. As far as like appearance goes, it didn't look damaged or anything. And so then after that, we met with her at the other house where he had stayed the night, July the 3rd, where his car was. Because it was important for us to try to retrieve everything of his that we could. But it honestly, for both instances, it was a run around, because I know she had issues getting his phone as well. And she ended up calling me, and I think I spoke with the mother. She put me on speakerphone, and I was like, hey, yes, I'm Christine, I'm Nolan's mom. We need his phone. We're trying to find him.
Yes.
I guess.
Okay, we'll go her and then you.
I guess let me answer the second part of the question. Absolutely, after our experts be able to examine the phone, we will let the Mississippi investigators examine the phone. And it's fortuitous that they have the phone, because normally in these investigations, as you know, Reverend Al, they will have the phone and stuff, and they will keep it for months, and the family just be in limbo. But thank God we have the phone now. We're going to do it expeditiously and give it to them to examine it as well.
It's been a whole month. They're going to do it expeditiously. Is this part of the expedition? I mean, I guess it may take time for them to do all, but it's been a whole month. And they still ain't gave the phones to the laws for them to be able to, put it together so they can try to get some answers.
Need a virtual assistant? AI can help with that. Explore free training today.
We, the people, love summer baseball. They say it's anyone's game, but from what we can see...
Anna Schechter with CBS News. So you said that he stayed the night at a friend's. The first question is, did he stay with the friends that he went on the boat with?
Yes, he did.
And my second question is, has anyone come forward and provided you with other photographs or videos from Horn Island from July 4th that afternoon?
They're starting to send them to our office, and that's what Attorney Park was being so adamant about. Please continue to send whatever videos you got, whatever pictures you got. And we're very thankful that some young people have done that.
Good afternoon. Donna Miles, ABC 7 New York. First of all, I would like to send my condolences to your schools as well as I know. This is very brave of you, and we appreciate your transparency. Two questions. Also, another question this point. My first question is, this happened in Mississippi, and we traveled here to meet with Ariel Sharpton. Why was this important to you, and how meaningful has this meeting been to you?
Talk to national meeting.
So we did this because, once again, what we're wanting is transparency, right? Although I do absolutely respect law enforcement, just the fact that the, accidental drowning thing, it made both me and his father uncomfortable. Why are we so quick to rush to this? And we just, at the end of the day, we want answers. This has been very impactful. And I'm gonna be honest with you, the day they found him, we were at Port Mars, which is one of the boat launches, and I was standing beside the water and I had said a prayer and I was like, Lord, this isn't what we wanted. But I just asked him to help us get through this, put the right people in our path that could potentially help us. Because at that point, we hadn't reached out to anybody. We didn't know where to start. This is foreign. We've never been through this. No parent should go through this. And then that's when my cousin, Keezy, she sent me a message with some information. My friend, Bianca, her sister, knows a contact with Attorney Ben. And so I said, okay, this has to be it. This has to be God helping us along the way. And I am not religious, but I am spiritual. And for that, I was grateful because I felt like things were being set up. And at this point, I have always said, we are taking any help. We don't care, black, white, purple, again, we just want to know what happened. That's all we want to know. We just want to know what happened.
And my quick follow-up to that, were you able to get a clear explanation as to the chain of custody at this moment, like how that parent came in possession?
No.
And then explain the resistance you said you went to the home to get the keys. I don't understand, what kind of resistance, what was that exchange of words like? The resistance you received when you went to go get the keys.
He just acted like he didn't know where they were. He just he was like he was clueless. He was like, I don't know. I don't well, just please. I was like, just please go in the room and look for me. Cause be honest with you, at that time I was very emotional. No one was giving me an answer. So that situation with me and them could have went totally left field. But since those other young kids were in there, at that moment, they kept me from doing what I wanted to do. So getting them and calming them down, it helped me focus on what I was really there for, to find the keys. And like I said, when I asked him, he said he went and looked. And so when he said he couldn't find them, I did what I needed. I left out of their home. And like I said, 5 minutes later, he come back out with the keys.
At TFCU, we get it, that getting a home loan should be the easiest part of buying your home. And now it's easier than ever to apply online with the credit union.
Oh, so that's it right there. Okay, so that's it right there. So that's episode 1 of Everybody Got Smoked for Brandon Tatum, but not for Nolan Wells' friend. You see, it wasn't no it wasn't no it wasn't no assuming or insinuating that the female had anything to do with it, but the particular three had something to do with Nolan Wells, and the situation and everything is looking funny how we went to go pick up the phone and how we been communicating with them, and we ain't, we ain't but turned the phone over after a whole month, and we said we was gonna do it expeditiously. They talking about suing people, but this is later on in the game. But as far as this first episode, this is not looking back on the playback after a lot of other information have been put out there. Thanks to Brandon Tatum once again. And I'm finna get up. Excuse me, I'm finna get up out of here, man. Y'all have a good night, man. Appreciate y'all tapping in to your boy